Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you had a great day, are having a great day. Thanks for joining in. And guys, I don't know what to say. I'm more and more concerned about Campi Flegrei. I am doing research and I'm trying to find, some evidence that what is happening right now, that this is normal, that this is no point of concern as of yet, that we might not see a volcanic eruption or that we will not have to evacuate the people like in the greater Naples area, in and around Pozzuoli, like more than 500,000 people in the red zone and more than 1.5 million in the danger zone, but over 3 million people in the area basically between Campi Flegrei and Vesuvius, both very active guys. So unfortunately, I found another study that says that the Italian supervolcano is approaching a breaking point and that a rupturing sequence has been developed across the four episodes of bradyseism that this area is seeing. So we will talk about that and we will look into that study, and it's not good. I don't have anything else to say. I am concerned. So let's dig deeper, guys. As always, thanks for being here. Leave this video a like. Don't forget that. So what is happening? How restless is the Campi Flegrei caldera that stretches over an area of roughly 100 kilometers and into the sea as well? You have to understand, Italy's Campi Flegrei, the burning fields, Phlegraean fields, if you translate this, is the most potentially hazardous caldera on the planet. And this caldera is stirring. What does all the recent activity mean? All these bradyseism, the land rise, the increased earthquake activity. I mean, of course, active calderas are quite captivating features, but also very, very dangerous, not only for the area or the country they're in, for the whole world, because they blow ashes in the atmosphere to such an extent that it can cause small ice ages. There would only be food for 74 days on the entire Earth. Check out my video about that. It's in my Campi Flegrei playlist. So it's not like only places like, we all know, Yellowstone, Taupo Tal, the Campi Flegrei and others are some of the largest volcanic features on the planet, and they are also some of the most restless, unfortunately. I mean, the volcano that we're watching on Iceland right now that keeps erupting on a regular basis, it threatens the town of Grindavik infrastructure, but it's not so threatening for the whole world. So these caldera volcanoes, the land surface rises and then it falls. It's called bradyseism. Then there's hot springs, there's geysers and mud pools that are gurgling, especially in the Solfatara. In this area that you see behind me, there's hot steam gas vents that release sulfur gases, and the residents around it report increasingly that they can smell them. And then, of course, earthquakes that are rumbling the population at this area there. We also see that lakes in the caldera in this area, there's a few lakes, we see they're changing their temperature on a regular basis. And much of this, of course, occurs a long way away from any potential eruption and can be considered normal, and even changes that we might think are dramatic might only be the day-to-day, the typical day-to-day variations of a caldera. So what scientists have to do and what's so critical is basically finding out what is a signal of new activity and what is merely a caldera being a caldera. So that's the tricky task that the scientists have here in Italy, especially the scientists of the Vesuvius Observatory and the INGV, the Italian Institute of Geoscience Science and Volcanology. So A caldera that might be the most potentially hazardous on the planet is Campi Flegrei, as I just said. And that region is awfully densely populated. So too many people live near the caldera or on the caldera. Because of that, it is even more important that understanding what might be happening, might be going on in the subvolcanic system is vital if there is any hope of getting people out of harm's way if this caldera decides to erupt again. And we just heard in one of my last videos that the Minister of Civil Defense, Musumeci, has said it's not very likely that people can be evacuated in time, that a successful evacuation is even possible. So that tells you something. Geologically, it hasn't been that long since the last eruption at Campi Flegrei has happened. The last eruption was in 1538, so that's roughly 475 years ago. And if we want to put that into perspective with other dangerous caldera systems, because people, they get upset about and scared about Yellowstone, but that caldera hasn't erupted for over 70,000 years. So Campi Flegrei can definitely be called an active volcanic system. And scientists tell us we should expect to see signs of that activity. And some of these signs are definitely apparent, like the Solfatara, the Fumarole field that is near Pozzuoli. Or if you see in Pozzuoli these famed ancient Roman columns that show evidence of seawater inundation in the past. This is a record of the bradyseism, of the rising and falling of the land surface along the Bay of Pozzuoli. And they recently had problems because the water level in the port is getting less because of the land rise there. So of course the INGV keeps a very, very close eye at Campi Flegrei, and they're monitoring things like seismicity, the land surface deformation, the hydrothermal vent temperatures that are kind of steady right now at 95 degrees Celsius, and then the gas chemistry that is coming out of the fumaroles. And right now, Campi Flegrei is the most watched volcano on Earth. So the good thing is, when rapid changes begin to occur, they will know about it quickly. So there have been some changes, and the study that I mentioned basically found out that there is a rupturing sequence that has been developed across the last 4 to 5 episodes of bradyseism, of the ground uplift. And that's why they're saying Campi Flegrei, the supervolcano, is approaching a breaking point. What do they mean with breaking point? I'll tell you. So this study shows, and we all know that by just watching what's been happening the last few weeks, Campi Flegrei is becoming more active and it could erupt once again. If you look at these NASA pictures or aerial pictures, Campi Flegrei is a cluster of calderas, not only one, right? That's why it stretches 100 kilometers. It's like the Campi Flegrei, the burning fields, several fields, so to speak. And Campi Flegrei is built from overlapping volcanic features, including like calderas, domes, and cinder cones as well. In the last eruption, Monte Nuovo was formed. You see this here on the map. So 8 years ago, scientists began to issue warnings about Campi Flegrei. So already 8 years ago. And after the latest study that they have conducted in just a short while ago, they said that the situation has become more dangerous. And if you consider that Campi Flegrei is the largest supervolcano in Europe, this is concerning. What is a supervolcano? A supervolcano has the highest volcanic explosivity index. They call this VEI, and that index for the supervolcano is 8. So, which in effect means that the volcano has a huge volume of magma deposits that has to be over 1,000 cubic meters. That will be 240 cubic miles of magma that is under the ground waiting to erupt. And that magma is in a deeper magma reservoir, and some magma is lurking up into a more shallow magma reservoir. And what adds to the level of alert is that a recent study that was just published a few weeks ago has confirmed that this more shallow magma chamber that is fed by the deeper magma reservoir is only at a depth of roughly 4 kilometers, between 4 and 5 kilometers below the surface. So it's not a long way for magma to creep up and cause an eruption. It was previously thought that it might be at 7 to 8 kilometers. So no, it's half the distance. How do supervolcanoes occur? Why are there normal volcanoes and why are there supervolcanoes? Supervolcanoes, guys, they occur when the magma that is rising in the Earth's mantle reaches the crust of the Earth, but can then not initially break through. The crust is keeping a lid on. This cap rock is keeping a lid on. You see it in the graphic behind me, that's from the last study. So there's a cap rock layer that keeps everything that's rising up in check. But since the magma cannot come to the surface and it's blocked there, that's why this is leading to enormous deposits of magma, which cause extreme pressure underneath the Earth's crust. And then eventually the crust gives way, and that will lead to potentially huge eruptions. Authorities have warned even last year, a year ago, about signs of reactivation of Campi Flegrei. Campi Flegrei is 14 kilometers in diameter. How you pronounce that? Diameter? You know what I mean? Radius in German, guys. And it has 24 different craters. That's why it looks, if you look at an aerial picture, it's like it's been hit by asteroids. Asteroids? Another word! Oh my God, guys. You know what I mean. Let's say bombs, like craters. You know, you see it, right? And when it erupted like 476 years ago, that was the first time in 3,000 years. And in that eruption, it ejected 200 cubic kilometers of magma, and the ash spread over an area of 3.7 million square kilometers. And that was not a large eruption compared to what Campi Flegrei can do, but 3.7 million square kilometers. That affects the whole world. That's why I always say, you know, we don't need to worry about climate change. If one of those guys erupts, we'll be freezing badly. Nothing will grow, right? Because the ashes block the sunlight, and the ashes fall down to the ground in widespread areas, so nothing will grow there for a very, very long time. So currently the volcano's craters, and you see this very good in that one crater, the Solfatara, contain many fumaroles, these hot steam vents with gases released, several boiling mud pools, various cones, and subsidiary craters that are extending into the caldera as well. The study that I'm talking about was carried out jointly by researchers from the University College of London and the Italian National Research Institute for Geophysics and Volcanology. So the INGV, they're the guys that are closely monitoring this volcano, and they are the experts on this volcano. So if they are saying something, this is credible. It's a credible study. So they have carried out their analysis with new data on changes in the number of local earthquakes, but Since this study was finished in late 2023, we see even more earthquakes. The month of May this year has seen over 1,500 earthquakes, the most earthquakes in a month that they have seen since this new Brady seism episode had started. And on May 20th, a 4.4 magnitude earthquake occurred within a large seismic earthquake swarm, the largest earthquakes that they have seen there in the last 40 years. What they are saying, all these signs are a testimony that the volcano is approaching to rupture. You have to let that sink in. What they're saying in this study, and that makes sense, right? That volcanoes that are reawakening after a long dormancy, they must rupture the crust before magma can erupt. So the crust that keeps the lid on. And there's another study that has said, because of the recent Brady seisms, land lifting and subsiding and lifting and subsiding, like a rubber band, stretching and not, it wears out. So the crust gets brittle, the rocks get brittle, they break. So the crust only has 1/3 of its stability left at the moment. So it's getting easier and easier for the magma to creep through the surface. They're also calling these Brady seismic events rupturing periods. And we have seen a sequence of rupturing periods that have been developed across 4 episodes of ground uplift. So from 1950 to 1952, from 1969 to 1972, 1982 to 1984, and then the recent one started as early as 2004. So that's the longest one, and it's still going. And it is believed that the Brady seismic activity in 1982, these 2 years, that magma was causing an intrusion. So magma was getting on its way out of the magma chamber, but then did not make the last little way to the surface. So it's called an intrusion, not an eruption, but something was moving. It was trying to erupt. So the scientists are saying they have used their model since 2017, and since then the Campi Flegrei has behaved as they predicted in their model, with an increasing number of small earthquakes indicating pressure from below. And these earthquakes are getting more and more, and they're getting also larger in size. Their challenge is now that they have to find or adjust their procedures for estimating the chances of new routes being opened for magma or volcanic gas to reach the surface. And you see this in the Solfatara. There are fumaroles and mud pools. So stuff from underneath is reaching the surface already. And here it comes. A big clue that they got from watching the pattern of the earthquakes and the Brady seism is that what they're saying is that the rocks on Campi Flegrei, that holds the lid on, they're breaking instead of stretching. Let's get back to my hair rubber band. Stretching, right? There's more magma coming in, putting pressure on it. It's stretching, but it will reach the point of maximum elasticity. And then it'll start to break. Blow up a balloon with air. It'll reach the point of maximum capacity and elasticity. And then if you keep blowing in more, it'll blast eventually. And that's what's happening with the rock layer that keeps the lid on Campi Flegrei. 1/3 of its strength is only left. But I find it very concerning, guys, that they basically confirm it's not stretching anymore. It is in the face of breaking. Because stretching, yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. Let's look at Iceland. If you follow my channel, I'm reporting about that magma chamber that is underneath that famous tourist attraction, Blue Lagoon, that pool, and the power plant. There is that magma chamber that is causing these repeated eruptions that are threatening the town of Lindavik. So that area is stretching, and then eruption, it's subsiding, it's stretching. So they're not telling us how stable the crust on top is. It seems it still has enough elasticity so that the Blue Lagoon and the power plant will not be sucked in, or magma will come to the surface. But that's what happens if with repeated events, it gets brittle. And this study confirms Campi Flegrei's maximum stress level that it can bear before breaking when it is stretched is about a third of what it was in 1984. And in 1984, there was most likely an intrusion. So that is super, super concerning. And their calculations are that based on the current volcanic activity, the next eruption is most likely to occur at a site within a 1,500 meter radius around that one Solfatara crater. So around a mile radius, 1.5 kilometers. And we know all the epicenters of these recent earthquakes and the stronger ones are within that radius, are underneath the Solfatara, underneath Pozzuoli. So that confirms their findings. And the earthquakes are getting stronger. We just had from April, since April basically, the land rise has doubled. So before mid-end April, the land was rising with 1 centimeter per month. Now it's rising with 2 centimeters per month. So it is accelerating. And given the fact that the crust is only a third of what it was, I find this super concerning. Let me know, guys, what do you think? Do you think we will see an eruption very soon, which would be absolutely catastrophic? Let me know, guys. Don't forget to like this video. Check out my new updates about what's happening at Mount St. Helens. It's called recharging event. Also not good. That bad boy also has a magma chamber underneath that is recharging. Things are happening in Iceland. That boy is also recharging. So what's going on, guys? I'll keep you updated. I'm here for you, and I'm so grateful that you're here for me by watching my videos, by liking the videos, by leaving me a comment, by sharing it with your friends, and by supporting my channel and my farm on my Buy Me a Coffee site. The link is in the description, and with the supers here on YouTube. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, and stay safe wherever you are. Until the next one, guys. Bye-bye.